So yesterday, somebody posted on the Facebook Ladies Lego Lounge that she had gotten her first Lego set that had paper bags inside instead of plastic bags. And I'm just going to say, when I do one of the big boxes, Dawn literally has to carry the plastic bags out to the garage because they don't compress very flat. They take up a lot of space in the kitchen trash can for no reason. That's kind of primary trash space for us. The one in the garage is for non-messy trash.
Non-messy,
bulky things that would just take up a lot of room in the house kind of thing.
Yep.
And I left a comment that I said several things, but one was, I prefer the plastic bags because I can see the pieces. Sometimes I'm looking for a piece in that set but not ready to build the set. Also, when I lay it out for my opening picture, I kind of like to see what's in the bags. Kids like to go straight for the minifigures. Little kids, when their parents are building, they want to pull them out.
So that's a pro.
Right. These are all, these are all the things I want, reasons why I want them, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, somebody had posted, I have a friend that works for Lego, and they had that none of the machines they had for sealing the plastic bags work with the paper bags. So it's basically, they put a lot of thought and effort into being climate friendly, and they went out and they got new machines to deal with these paper bags. And so one of the cons might be, well, what did you do with the ones that sealed the plastic bags? But the thing that Dawn said, and I totally agree with this, think about one 2x4 chunky Lego brick and how much plastic's in that versus the plastic in one plastic bag for the Lego pieces. Yeah. I don't know what the comparison is, and it's a slightly different plastic, but still, when you're selling plastic and that's what your product is, removing an infinitesimal amount of plastic from your product packaging is probably more signaling than actually removing plastic from the environment. And anyway, I left, there was probably a couple other things I said because I really thought about it, but there were several people that agreed with me, and there were several people that were laughing their you-know-what off at me because I wasn't climate aware. I think I should go back and put, oh, by the way, I've got 125,000 miles driving an electric vehicle, so this is not an anti-climate, I don't care about the climate take on this. This is just a stepping back for a minute, people, about the cost of the machinery, and you're selling plastic product anyway. Maybe you should reconsider your... Everything is not as clear-cut as it seems. These unintended consequences, or people jump on the bandwagon of being climate, of their climate signaling about how climate, concerned they are.
Right.
But they don't think through the consequences of it. So Dawn was just reading on X, and I've shown him how to go look at the things that Grok puts out there. And I find Grok to be very even-handed, even about Tesla things that might not be great. I'm really liking this Grok news. So what did you read?
Well, Grok told me today that in a study's been released, or they've been commenting on X, that 15 out of the 16 applications of plastic have been studied. 15 of them, the alternatives have a higher environmental impact than using plastic.
This had to do with grocery store plastic bags. Back up a second.
Being one of them. And I'm just assuming the Lego thing would be a perfect example. I mean, they definitely are saving a microscopic amount, but really that's nothing. And the best, I read Michael Schellenberg's Apocalypse Never. So if you want to see or understand this issue about how all this signaling, or how we do these minor things and the big things we just totally ignore, the plastic soda straws and all these things, you should read his book. It's very informative, and he's a environmentalist going back to the earliest days, and he even says that some of these, he very clearly says that these signaling things like the soda, use paper straws
instead of plastic.
And the plastic grocery bags. He pretty much covers all these types of subjects that where we want to show that we're very environmentally friendly by getting rid of the plastic Lego bags, but the fact that there's 3 pounds of plastic bricks in the thing, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, don't think that me building Legos that I'm oblivious to the fact that I'm building a petroleum produced
that's right.
product.
Plastic all come from petroleum.
Yeah, I try to use a lot of used and keep it out of the landfill and help the thrift store, but some of it is new, and therefore don't think that I'm clueless about it. I'm not clueless. But anyway, so when you're going into Whole Foods and you're bringing your satchel with you, and this is me too, because Michelle has given me these great bags and they're a lot of fun. Don't be high and mighty that your paper bag or your canvas bag that you carried in is particularly helpful for the environment, because they have done lots of studies on what it takes to produce those bags versus just using the little super thin plastic bags, and it's not as clear cut as it might seem that the reusable ones are better.
My advice to everyone, if you want to help the environment, just pick up trash. Just say, I'm going to contribute by picking up trash. At least you'll get a cleaner neighborhood, and the trash will be in the landfill where it belongs.
Yeah, well, you'll also understand just how much junk food other people are really eating.
That's right, and then you'll start understanding that that we got a lot of problems, and plastic is not the biggest one.
Right. We're not meaning to be super preachy this morning. No. I need the plastic bags from Walmart and Harris Teeter for the kitty litter. And I've said before that I would...
a 3D printer out here is doing great things with plastic.
Exactly. It printed parts for us yesterday to fix our...
technically cornstarch. But hey, I'm sure...
Well, it's got chemicals in it, no doubt. Yeah. One of the reasons you would put your 3D printer in the garage or the basement or someplace is because...
it does give off.
It does give off a little bit of fumes that you probably don't want to either vent outside or not breathe. I don't normally notice it when I walk in there, but every once in a while. Right. Every once in a while, just a faint hint. I wouldn't want to be out there full time, but yeah, just... think about unintended consequences. Slow down a little bit before jumping on to this is a better solution, because we just don't, I think we don't know how to know. And then I think we don't stop to think because the emotions get in the way. So I'm going to continue to use my canvas reusable bags at Whole Foods, because now that I've got them, they're already made, and they're great for, and the other day the girl basically had to pry 2 of the paper bags away from me that were torn at the handle. I was like, oh, we can just carry it in the house from the bottom. It's no big deal. And she's, oh, let me recycle it for you. And I didn't want to fuss at her about it, but really it could have been used a couple more times, and at least it was going in the compost.
So I'm reading this article, and people have pointed out that it was, let's just say the funding came from somebody who is involved in the plastic industry, so therefore there could be a conflict of interest. But and I certainly think that is a reason to be skeptical, but it is not a reason to instantly dismiss the thing. But it did talk about, I'm surprised, it said that 60%, when you're talking about soft drink containers, and they picked the most popular ones to compare. Plastic, 20-ounce plastic bottles is 17% of the containers. 60% of them, which is part of the surprising, are still aluminum. So the 12-ounce aluminum can, they said that they picked the most popular sizes of the product in that category. So if you go for a soda, you tend to pick a 20-ounce bottle. If you go for a aluminum can type package, you're probably going to get a 12-ounce. And if you go for a glass bottle, and glass bottles is 0.3%. So I'm still surprised that 60% of the packages are aluminum. So that was a little surprising.
Yeah, don't forget, Don and I are the people that pick up other people's trash at the park or along the side of the road, and we still get the aluminum cans that we picked up that other people threw out to the landfill. So no hate comments about us not being climate friendly. Don's been recycling everything he ever used for a long time.
We're a little, a couple, 3 times.
Right, we're a little less keen on recycling plastic versus burying it in the landfill. Go do some research about why recycling plastic isn't all that it's made out to be. But that's a whole nother discussion. But glass and aluminum and cardboard for sure go to the appropriate spot. But I have a thought. Maybe people don't want to drive electric cars because they can't do without stopping at Sheetz or Wawa or wherever else they are for their ultra-processed food, which I personally feel the food companies have addicted them to.
Yeah.
So it's no fault of their own. But the ultra-processed food, which feeds the plastic bags around the Danish and chips and other things, and feeds the aluminum can, the White Claw we see on the road, the 20-ounce plastic bottles. I mean, it's like a nasty, vicious cycle of go fill up my car with gas, go inside, get all of these things that come in disposable containers every day for some people. Now, some of the places they offer reusable mugs. It'd be interesting to know, if you go in with your reusable mug, how many people are actually doing that? Reusing a cup or reusing a mug. I would say less than 2%, but maybe there's a few people that are trying to do the right thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I almost got in trouble the other day with a friend of mine. God, I insert my foot in my mouth sometimes, and I really didn't mean to here. I really didn't mean to, but she was using a plastic, this is not Michelle. She was using a plastic water bottle, and I'm like, well, we stopped using those over 10 years ago. First off, it's really expensive. Second off, they either improperly are recycled or end up in the landfill. The water's not higher quality.
Yeah.
It's hurts your pocketbook. I mean, there's a few applications a year. Like you're going in a canoe and you don't want to lose your best, have the potential of losing your best Stanley mug in the river. You don't intend to leave any trash, but sometimes canoes tip or whatever. Yeah. It's just a bad example, but you could, if a place where you could lose it.
Yeah.
I get a few a year. We have a case of water in the garage. It's been out there for hurricane prep for 5 years now.
Easily, yeah.
And when JB comes, he takes some of them to try to help us use it so I can restock it with fresh water.
And
but
I try to take them, and we keep spare bottles of plastic water bottles in all the cars. We've got 3 or 4.
Yeah, just in case you're out. I mean, there are a few applications, but as your go-to 5 times a day, I need water, I'm going to drink it out of a plastic bottle. Probably not a good thing. But anyway, I think buying gas feeds buying junk food. I think it's a vicious cycle. Why would you want to give up your morning stop at Sheetz, where that's where you get your Frappuccino, or at Starbucks, or, why would you want to give that up? I think it's a cycle that's more than the buying the gas. I think the buying the ultra-processed food is part of it, too.
I think you might be onto it, because if you think about what the format of the gas station, seriously, when I used to commute back and forth, of course, I've been retired, haven't been commuting since 2008, and this goes back before then. There was a service station that they installed on the way to RTP that was fully automated. There was no attendant. They had cameras at every pump. They had cameras all over. They had extra fire suppression stuff. And it was well lit. I mean, it looked up like a daylight when you drove into it. I mean, I liked this station because I could go in, put my credit card in, fill up my gas, and go. And they did have a bank of vending machines over on the back side, but they didn't have the classic store. So why did that model fail? And yet the Sheetz, Wawa, you name it, how many
7-Eleven,
these gas stations, convenience store, balloon, that's the model. And the only possible reason is that people don't go to Sheetz just to buy gas. They go to Sheetz to buy the junk food, buy the food. You go into Sheetz and you look at, well, do they sell Whole Foods and all these?
Well, they do have hard-boiled eggs.
You can find a couple. What I'm getting at, if you look in there, it's all snack food. It's not your staples. I mean, it's not the kind of stuff that your mom would say, you need to be eating this 3 meals a day. This would be, when you go to the football game or basketball game, you can have a hot dog. Well,
we won't be around to know, but it'd be interesting in 100 or 200 years to see what people have evolved, if they've gone even more in that direction, or they backed off of it. It'd be interesting to see.
Well, I also
My flowers facing the sun this morning. The rooster very happy. All my kitties here. The holly trees are almost done dropping last year's leaves or a couple years leaves, and have their new growth, and the flowers for the berries doing their thing. Yeah, everything is looking good out here this morning. I took 2 Tylenol, Slept flat on my back for 7-8 hours. I'm feeling pretty recovered this morning. I'm sure it won't take a lot of bending before I'm hurting again. Maybe I should take a couple of Proactive Tylenol. I do not like to take that stuff, but last night was like an emergency. I am going to come and mow in here, which I was going to do 2 or 3 days ago before we bring out the plant pots. Once they're out and I'm doing my thing, it'll just get harder. Don won't mind the extra 30 minutes of vegging inside probably until I'm ready for him. You know, we're just going to do more project stuff today. He's going to be tied up the entire week with work, long days. So we're just hanging out and doing some stuff. The plants under the house out and maybe the yard art out. That's not a big thing also. And you know, I can piddle out here with my plants and stuff during the week without, you know, needing too much support. I certainly want to put begonias in these 2 baskets that he has hanging nicely for me now at a good level. I take the wheelbarrow around and I don't know, last year I've potted on my glass table over there, but you know, I got to get the stuff over there to pot, and I cleaned it off, and I don't know, probably not. Hi guys. Hey Panther, good morning. You didn't eat all your chicken I brought you at midnight. That's alright. I got fresh stuff now. Well, everything I did yesterday is looking okay today. Yeah, it looks better around the gnome home and up by the forsythia. We've got to keep going this way with the weeding, but we did around the things that were most important. And you know, we keep up with this area in there too, and there's a couple new saplings that need to be pulled, but it looks pretty good in there. Probably can wait till fall for attention. It's another glorious day in Carolina. I did come up here and I did not take this down and totally redo it. Since it was new last year, the dirt in there is probably pretty good. Maybe next year I'll dump the whole thing and start from scratch. That's what I do with a lot of the pots, is I take out the top third to a half, use that in the bottom of some other pot, put in some new good fertilized dirt for this year. Try to mix it up a little bit, and you know, the impatiens are down there. They like that spot, and normally the deer don't get that, especially now that this tree is this big. Good morning, Gray. Good morning, good morning. Well, you didn't play with the toy up here, but I see the toy down here got played with. Hi. Hi, honey. Good morning. Don and I just had a conversation about where the Ring camera is going to go, and I'm going to go configure it, and then we're going to go plug it in and walk around and see where we really want it. I don't let Donnie configure Ring devices because that might frustrate him. I need him doing the really important stuff and not messing with the app. I kind of own Ring at our house, the dashboard and all that stuff. It's set up and installing an update, and I'm going to go get out the mower before we pull out the plant pots. I need to mow the backyard. Don's test mounting it on the left side, a couple holes, a couple screws in the metal. It turned out to be a double thick piece of metal, of course. Probably there. I was impressed with Tux today. He didn't even mow. And oh, by the way, huge improvement. Huge.
Amazing what happens when
30 to 40% better cut.
Right.
Much better.
Yeah. Well, that's probably about as good as it's going to be, because that blade, all I did is knock the rust off of it.
Sure.
So I didn't really sharpen it. I just cleaned it.
Right, and we removed the rock yesterday. That was the one I was hitting the most, and I fixed the bricks in the side yard that I was hitting. So theoretically, I would be hitting this new improved blade with a lot less things that could damage it.
Yeah. Well,
but it wasn't bad. That was what, 6 or 7 years on that blade?
Yeah,
You might. I know you tightened it down once.
Yeah, I think that was just, yesterday was the third time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I no complaints about the blades are about $28 if you order it on Amazon.
Pricey.
I thought that wasn't a big deal to keep your.
The difference between them and a classic lawnmower blade that you can go buy all day for $10.
Yeah.
Is these blades are thinner.
Okay. Well, it did good. I was very pleased. Very pleased. You're not going to want to stay in here without me. I just came in for water. You're not. You're going to get lonesome. You are. You're going to get lonesome. Hi. Guarantee it. No play rough. No play rough. Come on, let's go. Come on. You're not going to want to be in there. Come on, let's go.
Okay, so I put a couple of those sheet metal screws like this, and they worked even though they have, well, mine had a 1/4 inch heads. I don't know that these 5/16 would have worked, but the 1/4 inch self-tapping screws worked. Okay, two things to keep in mind. This will go either way. You can angle it up or angle it down. That's really well designed, but I have to admit to you that I didn't think about putting it up until to the top up there. It worked out well. I just got lucky. I'm going to tell you that. But what I'm really making this video is to show you is this clamp right here. There's a screw to tighten it right there. And let me tell you, this ball snaps into that socket. I loosened that up as much as it could. And I figured there's no way you can get that screw restarted. So I backed the screw out as far, but it's still a few threads. But this is so tight, I haven't tightened it at all. So I'm telling you, that ball was hard to snap in there. I mean, I had to use some real grunt. And then, of course, once I snapped it in there, I realized that the screw hole was pointing up. So I had to rotate it. And let me tell you, you don't rotate that thing by hand. And not, you're gonna need a tool. I use my bottle opener or can opener or top, this thing, and it worked great. But if I hadn't had that, I wouldn't have turned that. Not with my fingers. It was that tight. But anyway, I'm ready to continue. I'm gonna just run the power cord along here, and probably initially just plug it into that panel there. But there is another outlet all the way down on their end, and they give you enough cord. It's actually Type C. This is powered by Type C. And they gave you a little battery pack maybe or something. I don't know. I haven't actually examined it. It could just be a little power pack. Basically, it's in the middle of the cable. They give you like 20 feet of 120 volt cable, and then another 10 feet of USB Type C. So the Type C is a little over 2 meters, maybe 2.5 meters. And the 120 cord is probably 3 meters. So I think what they've given you there is basically about 5 meters, a little over 5 meters total of cord. So you can be up to about 5 meters. I'll go read the instructions, see exactly how far, but it's plenty for our purposes. I'm just putting it out in the sun so it gets a little warm, and I can straighten those kinks out a little easier, and I can fish the wire, and hopefully it'll lay flat where I need it to be. I
got my 2 hanging baskets planted. Don's helping me get the plants out while this cable softens up in the sun. He's in a really good mood, even though he's moving plants, I have to say. That one goes nestled in by that butterfly bush so it doesn't fall over. It's a little top heavy.
Yeah, it's got a thing that
killed you?
Yeah, it does me every year.
It's a metal stake with the sun on it.
Yeah, and stuff is big old heavy, and it really gets swinging and it knocks you senseless.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Not really, but it's kind of cute. Does that one have a metal stake in it too?
Yeah. That does. Let me tell you, that thing pokes you, you feel it. Luckily, it hit my hard hat this time.
Don with his hands in the dirt. It's a fine moment. We're taking the top layer of dirt, like the first 4 or 5 inches out, and putting fresh dirt in, getting those ready for planting. And you have cobweb on you, mister. I've made a dent. I'm starting to have empty plant pots. I refreshed the creeping Jenny in this pot from that pot over there. I swapped out that pot for this green pot so they'd look more, I don't know, even. Those came from Dad's house a long time ago. It's kind of special memories, even if not the prettiest pot. I'm starting to have things. Still got some things. Kind of got the little nursery going over here. A couple of snips off the geranium that's on the front porch hook. I'm trying to get started. Dug up the hydrangea, Dawn did, because it wasn't doing where it was. Dug up the peony that wasn't doing. This is going to the mailbox. The tropical plant is resting until I can move it to another locale, because I transplanted it and it was pretty bare root. I did plant these yesterday. You know, by the end of the summer they're this tall. Huge. So it doesn't look like much now, but we know it's going to be a lot. So I'm putting coleus in here, and I'm working on these 2 pots, and I got some empties waiting on me over here. I put this newest Japanese maple, which I have not done a very good job of getting it quite upright, but maybe a stick. The root ball fell apart on me, even though I was super careful with it. So hopefully it's okay. This pot will be plenty big for a year or 2, and then it can get transplanted into something this size. And more stuff, my table. So this is my keep the deer from eating this oak leaf hydrangea. This thing has to have the biggest roots for the smallest tree ever, because they keep on eating it. Maybe this year this will keep them out of it. I'm desperate at this point. Desperate, I tell you. This guy is coming back. He's putting out new leaves. So I keep on spraying foul-smelling stuff over here, hoping for the best. That rock is trying to help me start a piece of this hydrangea for a local friend. I've got lots of creeping Jenny, lots of ferns, another beauty berry. I could spare a few pieces of hellebores. Trying to think. Oh, and I've got plenty of the painter's palette, this perennial thing. I've got a little bit of a juga. If there's local people that wanted snippings, I'd be happy to share with friends. I'm getting close. I got one more pot to stick plants in and put some of the yard art back in the pots. And Dawn's gonna take this away. I'm gonna order me one of those really big blue planters, like the one that Maple's in over there. And this dirt will be used to fill up a good part of that. I'll put some whatever's the last of that fresh dirt on top. And the yard art is coming out. Unfortunately, Dawn found a leak under the house, and it leaked into a big piece of blue porcelain stuff that I have. The thing that the blue fountain goes on top of is full.
Okay, there they are. I put the little casters. I had these. They were free. I captured them in the hole. They won't come out. Of course, they're not super strong, but they'll probably be fine enough for no more weight we'll put on that. And that silver bag that I've twist tied, that's got the feet and the couplings, the couple these vertical pipes together, in case we want to rejoin all this stuff back together. That's all the parts there, so it should, you know, blend in down there. That way I won't have to hunt them if we ever decide to do something. I really like this cart. You know, it's got this little thing. I may actually build a little shelf that go across here, and you know, a nice flat shelf, and this will just be like a drawer, and then I'll have a little work area up here. That'd actually make that thing way more useful.
Take me to ice cream?
Oh, sure, sounds great. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Maybe 5 minutes on our glider.
Okay, sure, we can do that.
My back just wants to sit down for a minute. I could not have done the stuff in the yard today if Don had not helped. He did all the heavy lifting. He took direction like super well. He did everything I asked him to do. I mean, seriously, my back's bothering me so bad that if he hadn't helped, I couldn't have got it all done. I got more things to plant, but all my pots are ready to go. So I'm excited about that. I could use another flat or two of impatiens. So we're headed to the scoop at Willow Oak Farms. It's 6.6 miles in 10 minutes. It's kind of south on 401 going out of town, but apparently technically still considered in Fuquay-Varina.
Way cool.
Yeah, this is our first time driving Jules on full self-driving supervised 12.3.4.
Yep.
Oh my God, it's more busy than Porter's and Sunny Skies. But there's another Tesla. Pretty nice large parking area though. 2 Teslas, we'd be number 3.
Well, I guess we'll park down here.
Oh, they got a playground.
Well, they had something going on here.
I think it's just people on a nice day wanting ice cream.
I think that's pretty much
Willow Oak Farms and Properties, which is interesting that it's Willow something because it's in the opposite direction of Willow Spring. But yeah, I guess if you want to get ice cream and let your kids run around in a safe spot for a little bit, small kids, shoot, I'd have been coming here. Wow, the tag is Stardust. I love it. That's so awesome. Oh my goodness. That one's mine. Holy moly, let me see. And mine's No Judgment, and Don's got the Southerners, a moon pie underneath there. Oh my God, I might need help, Donnie.
Oh, don't worry, it won't
there's a piece of brownie on top. What? Oh, I think they have a room over there too if you want to do a birthday party. You're all happy now. The only thing missing was an entree on there that had bacon with the ice cream. That's okay. He said, remember, there's only a couple pots that can hold flowers that are like left. Yeah, don't you worry about it, Donnie. Well, there's a lot to like here. It's complete sticker shock, just complete. I just can't even imagine what my father would say. But I'm letting Don walk through the gardens with me anyway. Left of the mailbox, right of the mailbox, behind the mailbox, flat of impatiens and other coleus, and there's 2 packs of begonias down there. And Don's looking at plumbing fittings.
Right.